like to welcome all of you to the Mendenhall Glacier and to dog camp. The dogs we have here we call Alaskan Huskies. These dogs are considered the fastest land animals over distance on the planet. They're covering 1,000 miles in about 8 to 9 days. Typical training runs about 50 miles, and they can do up to 150 in a single 24-hour period. So pretty amazing animals.
You must be the captain.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, I'm John.
Nice to meet you, John. My name's Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
I'm going to be taking you out today.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Yes. This is our team over here. We've got 12 Alaskan Huskies for you. This is Gigabyte.
Hi, Gigabyte.
And this is Fionn.
Fionn, you're pretty eyes.
Fionn's going to be one of your lead dogs. She's 5 years old. This guy is Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps, he's got to be fast then.
He's a good swimmer, huh? Right, buddy? We'll go about 2 miles around the glacier. I'll tell you a little bit about the area here, and I'll tell you all about the dogs if you'd like. So you can sit here, I'll hook up. All right.
This is so cool.
So the dogs are designed to kind of follow a trail system. Even if there isn't one available, if it's blown away from wind or Mother Nature, the dogs will just kind of go straight until I tell them otherwise. So we don't use reins like with horses, so they need to feel my brake and they need to listen to my voice. So we'll demonstrate a left-hand turn. It's just, you indicate the dogs by kind of stepping on the brake, and then you just tell them where you want them to go. Ha! 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 There you go. So if you look over to your left, this is the Herbert Glacier and the Mendenhall Glacier where they connect. It's called H&M Pass, and we're kind of pointed towards the Mendenhall Towers now. Those mountains sit about
magical.
3,500 feet. Yeah, they're kind of remind me of Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
All right.
All right.
Very cool.
Nice tour, Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem. You're welcome.
Great time.
I always like to pet the dogs after a run. Just let them know they did a good job. So
Let's pet them.
More than welcome to.
Good job.
Good job,
Good
you
job.
guys.
We're at the Macaulay Salmon Hatchery for a little Salmon 101. Emily, take it away.
Sure. So these are chum salmon, also called the ketas or the dogs. And basically what all of these tens of thousands of salmon that we have on site are doing right now is fighting up this fish ladder that's behind this window. This is one of the last legs, one of the last segments of their journey up a river or a freshwater creek. In our case, it's a fish ladder. This fish ladder is 450 feet long, and these chum salmon have been fighting up it for a couple hours or a couple of weeks.
We were just up at the river and there were thousands of salmon swimming upstream.
Sure. What's happening in a natural spawning situation, what you saw, is that these salmon will stir up a gravel bed, and with about a 5% chance of fertility, those eggs are going to be fertilized. So that's a natural spawning environment. So it's quite challenging. You can see why that salmon has thousands of eggs inside her
There's
in
so
hopes
many.
that one gets fertilized.
And looking at all the thousands, though, I mean, we're at a hatchery here, so conservation is important. You're educating us now.
Yeah.
But what's the fine line between conservation and food?
In Alaska, you really don't have to worry about that because these hatcheries are supplying the commercial demand. So this is an incubation tray. This is where these baby salmon, once those eggs have been fertilized, are going to live for that one winter. So we have a room, and there's 650 of these trays all stacked up on one another, fresh water continuously flowing throughout.
And now for the hooky, spooky part of the tour.
The creepy crawly part.
No, this is cool. This is where all the eggs are.
This is where all the eggs are.
What's the purpose of having it be so dark?
So the reason that this room has to be dark is that light affects their growth rate.
How many salmon will make it out of this room into the Pacific?
About 125 million.
Whoa!
We're in the baby making business.
Yes, you are, and you do it well.
We do it well. Yep.
This is pretty intense.
It's a lot of fish, almost 200,000 to be exact.
Wow. And I noticed that they're like gathering in that corner and then shooting out.
Well, they're reacting to us. So when I just saw your hand go that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm directing an orchestra. Emily, I love it. I learned more about salmon than I ever thought I would in an amazing setting.
Yeah.
And here we are where they come. Basically, these guys are coming home to die.
They're coming home. They're coming home to die. So this is basically the starting point of our fish ladder. This fish ladder is 450 feet long, and they're going to fight their way up it, changing, dying the entire time. Pacific salmon, both male and female, regardless of which 5 species it is, only has one life cycle naturally. So yep, they're coming home to die.
I'm still amazed. I can't get it in my head how they come all over the world and they come back here to this spot.
They come back here. I know, it's amazing.
Well, here we are. We're headed into Tracy Arm. Tracy Arm, a fjord. A fjord is a ocean waterway carved out by glaciers. Now we got a little bear here. They come down to the shore to eat mussels and barnacles at low tide, sometimes the kelp there, and they're kind of used to us, so we keep enough distance to where we don't bother them too much and give everybody a chance to have a look there and take some pictures. And this one here, they can at least check that little box that says bear. Rule number 1 is you go around problems, so you find the path with the least amount of ice. So rule number 1, go around it. Rule number 2 is go slow, and slow can be defined in a lot of different ways. Again, that depends on how much ice is here.
So besides the obvious, Steve, describe what we're looking at here.
This is South Sawyer Glacier, and it's part of the Stikine ice field. It's a big area that goes from just south of Juneau down to the Stikine River, from the Taku River down to the Stikine River. The ice field itself really is all the mountains and the glaciers that are collected upon them, and this is one of the most substantial pieces of ice you'll find anywhere. Check this out. This is really gorgeous. This is the kind of ice that we're well known for here in Tracy Arm. Just look at this color. You got to be careful going around them because they can fan out. You know, you think about sonar, radar, GPS and all that. I do it more simply. I simply look out the window. Also coming up here, we've got a spot you've got to step outside to enjoy the view. Look up to the heights, the rock walls way above us. Little trickle of a waterfall here too.
This is a great opportunity to get up close and personal with the waterfall. The water's really warm. Come on, takers. That waterfall you took us to, you got so close to it, man. You know how to maneuver this boat. You're good.
Oh yeah, I got the knack.
How many waterfalls? Hundreds and thousands of waterfalls. It seems
you
like
lose
today.
track. You can't count them.
But that
There's
one
so
you took
many.
us to, I thought was very cool.
Yeah, we like that maneuver. You get in there and everybody enjoys it. And I get within about an inch of the rocks.
The Tracy Arm excursion is billed as one of Juneau's must-do attractions, and after spending the day on the boat with Captain Steve and his crew, I'd say myself and the other 44 passengers would definitely agree. Wow. The Last Chance Mining Museum is the only historic mining building open to the public from Juneau's Gold Rush era, an era that ushered in the population boom to Alaska.
The gold rush started, gold was first discovered in 1861 in the Cassiar region down in Canada, and then it just migrated north. And we've had about 6 anniversaries of Gold Rush. Juneau, then Skagway going up into the Klondike, and then Fairbanks, and then over to Nome. My favorite place is when somebody says, we're going to Chicken. It's like Chicken, Alaska. It's like, what a place to live.
Now there's some really interesting pieces in here, especially the map. They didn't have computers back then, but they have this map that goes down several dimensions.
The fact that they were able to draw on glass all the tunnels and they knew where they were going. And the fact that it's very accurate is amazing to me, that you can look at it. And I like the fact I can turn it off, I can turn it on, and I can read it.
Because you got the lights. And you've also got lights from back in the 1800s hanging from the ceiling here. What other pieces in the museum are of interest?
Well, obviously I love the compressor. The water wheel gets a lot of interest. The big, huge safe over there, I guess, is another one of mine. It was a safe that they used to store the gold in, and it weighs about 800 pounds.
You must be Rocker Box Randy.
Yep, you must be John, huh?
I'm John, good to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Renee taught us the history, the local mining history this morning. Now it's time to find some gold, my friend.
You want to find gold?
I want to find gold.
Okay, let me get some pans here. We'll get you all set and find you some gold, okay? Okay, the whole trick to panning for gold. You got to remember, gold's heavy metal. Gold settles the bottom of your pan. Then you want to have a lot of action. You can tap it, shake it. Best way is to tap it, jar all the heavy gold down the bottom. Then you want to get it all over your sand or overburden on the top. Angle it just about like this. What happens, these pans have a nice little lip or edge in the bottom. Gold being heavy now will come down, hang in the bottom edge of that pan. You gently rinse it off. Now we have a lot of iron. The black you see is iron. Now here's the neat thing about an old pan. You want them old and rusty for a reason, I'll show you. The gold's going to be down here,
Oh yeah,
and there's your gold up
look
there.
at all those gold flakes.
Now
Sweet.
here's a nice thing about an old rusty pan. Hold your hand out.
Gold stays.
You want an old rusty pan if you're going to go with metal, because gold is really kind of coarse and rough, and then it grabs on those rusty old pans, they cling on to each other.
Randy, it's been a pleasure.
Well, good. Come up anytime. We like to show people how to find gold. Just don't give our secrets out where we're at.
I'm not
okay?
going to give any of the secrets up.
Have fun getting your gold.
We love to bring out personalities, local personalities on Next Stop. And you're definitely one of the local personalities of the Juneau show. And you're kind of like Santa Claus. I mean, people are going to believe you. What do you do in the winter? What do you do around Christmas time? Tell the truth.
I cut my beard way back, actually. I'm one of the few people that grow a beard in the summer and trim it way back in the winter.
Really?
I grow it for the summer, I really do.
Well, you look the part. So this is pretty cool. After you get off the float plane, which was a beautiful ride, they give you a little time before mealtime to walk around the area. You really feel like you're in the Alaska wilderness.
This is a wild Taku River king salmon you folks are eating today. These fish are caught just about 12 miles away from us, just upstream. We have them delivered about every other day. It's some of the best salmon you can get, and Wes does a darn good job of cooking it over the alder fire out there. So glad you guys are enjoying that stuff. You should be very thankful that I had absolutely nothing to do with your meals today. Been a pretty sore outcome if that were the case. Well, I'd like to welcome you all to Taku Lodge. It's a pleasure having you with us here today. This lodge was originally built in 1923 by a guy named Dr. Harry Devine. Now, he was a physician at the AJ Gold Mine there in Juneau before he decided he wanted a change in lifestyle. He headed up the river here and he homesteaded this property. He chopped down all the timber in the yard, and with that timber, he built this very lodge.
Ready to go on trail walk?
Yeah.
Now we'll get going this direction over here. On your guys' right and left sides here, we have wild blueberries and wild huckleberries. And they're actually in season right now, and you guys are welcome to eat them before the dogs get to them. Also along the trail here, you're gonna see this really nice pink flower here. It's actually called fireweed. It's a really cool plant. It actually turns totally pink, and it's usually the first thing that's actually gonna grow back after a wildfire. These bigger trees you see here, with all the moss growing on them, these are Sitka spruce. It's actually Alaska's state tree. These are hundreds and hundreds of years old. This is an old growth forest. This tree is probably about 150 years old. And it's actually covered in this moss. It's called sphagnum moss.
What is it that people say about this tour?
Well, I think really it's just authentic, you know. There's a lot of history to the building here. It's real Alaska. You take a float plane up here, people are just in awe of the glaciers. You fly over 5 glaciers before you get here. There's history to it, there's a story that comes with the lodge, and there's just an authentic feel about the building and the grounds.
What's it like to work for a family business that brings in all these people from all over the world that put smiles on their face?
I couldn't be more blessed, you know. It's just nice to work so closely with my family, and started working in the kitchen officially when I was 12 years old, and pretty much just haven't left ever since.
I've been searching my whole life for the American version of the Von Trapp family singers, and I think I found it here in Juneau, Alaska. The Husky family, the Alaska String Band. Welcome to Next Stop, and wow, what sound you guys put out. Let's start with you two. How did you guys meet?
We met playing music. We had a common friend who asked us to play at a Christmas event, and we played at that together, and then we started dating and fell in love shortly thereafter, and music has always been a part since day one.
In 1904, aboard the Princess May, took her due north on a trip for 3 days. Search of wealth and the promise of gold, digging in the dirt only left me cold. Just work in the mine if you're willing to go, 2,000 feet down the shaft below, way down deep in the Treadwell mine, working all day for $3 and a dime.
Guys and girls, come on now. Is there any conflict? Of course there's conflict. How do you get through it when you're at rehearsal and you just like want to get at each other's throats?
Yell a lot.
No,
Yelling
we
works?
have conflicts, but usually they resolve. If we play, we end up feeling better after we play it.
Bands that tour without family, it's really hard on them. You know, to tour as a family is great. We get to spend time and go on adventures together. You know, I feel blessed because I get to work with my kids as they're maturing and train them into a professional skill.